It is time for This Week in Location-Based Marketing, episode number 82, Father's Day. On today's show, can Montreal-based DigiCity do what others have tried and tried and tried, only to marginal success? Can they succeed? We wonder, Xtify's great news about location-triggered push notifications, waiting for a movie just got more interactive, and Samsung can't wait for NFC. Literally can't wait. Plus, our usual bevy of M&A and financing news, our resource of the week, and Jonathan Stephen, head of mobile with JetBlue Airways, swings by to tell us about how location is moving the airline industry forward. What a show! And it starts right now. Welcome, Asif. This is episode number 82, buddy. Happy Father's Day.
Hey, happy Father's Day.
It is one of those days that that we are supposed to do what we want to do, and look what we're doing.
I know. We're working.
It's just what we do. I wouldn't imagine doing anything else.
I know.
Well, it is quite a week, and you were saying that this is one of these Sundays in Toronto that make you wonder why you scratch your head and wonder. The city is so vibrant, full of life, full of things. Like you've got the Much Music Video Awards, you got a ball game, you got North by Northeast. What else? It's jammed.
Luminato. Yeah, Luminato. There's all kinds of stuff going on. It's crazy.
Well, to all you fathers out there, happy Father's Day, and we really appreciate you guys coming and listening and watching wherever you are and whatever you're doing during the week. We are here to recap the news that was, give a little bit of insight into the location-based marketing world, some of the biggest stories, some of the biggest fundings, M&A, and of course our special guest and a great resource. All of it jammed into one show, if you can believe it. And we'll keep it to probably about 3 or 4 hours. That's it. So sit back, enjoy. First off, Asif is actually back in the city of Toronto, as you can see, after Vegas and Europe, and he's in for a couple of days and then heading back at the end of the week. What is it? There's something going on June 20th for the Location-Based Marketing Association. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, this coming Wednesday here in Toronto. I'm actually in town, so we're having an event. It's not.
Now, wait a second. Is the reason that you're having an event because you're actually in Toronto? It's like, yay, Asif is here.
No. Yeah, we're having a party to celebrate my return to the city. No, absolutely not. We're having a great event called Checking Into Content, and it's the idea we're going to explore the sort of the non-check-in, check-in, so to speak, where we look at the relationship between location and billboards and television and digital out of home and sort of all the other media beyond just mobile. So I think it's going to be a really great event. We've got MediaCom, CBS Outdoor, hosted by KPMG. We got CBC on the panel as well. We've got special case studies going to be supplied by Stop.at. So yeah, it's gonna be great.
All right, I'm not gonna hold on one second to see. Bring your camera. Can you move your camera down slightly?
Down. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, I'm coming back in
Okay.
here. Well, it should be a great event. I mean, it is something that is happening June 20th. Where is it being hosted, Asif?
KPMG Bay Adelaide Centre in Toronto. It starts at 3 o'clock, goes till about 7. So keynote panel, good event. So hope you can make it.
Please, if you're in the Toronto area. And then like a week later, I don't know if you know about this, but a week later, Asif, this little thing called Untethered Talks. We're down to the crunch right now.
Yeah, I've heard about it. It's kind of, it's got a lot of buzz going. I come back into the city and everybody's, forget Luminato and North by Northeast and all this stuff. Everybody's talking about Untethered Talks.
That's because we have been pimping this like it's, we feel that this is one of those times in our existence. It was, I just penned this. It's an article I put up on Untethered.tv today. It's about, the reasons why we should be embracing this technology. When I came back from, I did an Asian trip on my own in the early 90s, and I came back and I had seen some of the technology that was evolving in there, and I came back and I immediately latched onto the internet, and I started talking to entrepreneurs and business people about the internet, about websites and all these kind of things, that seem commonplace today, but 92, 93, it was a far leap back then. And people came to me and said, why would I ever need that, Rob? What is this tool? It's so dumb. I've got ads. I've got TV and print. I don't need the internet. And then look what happened. And now we've been pushing mobile and
Did you ride the plane back?
Exactly. It was like
Were you the guy in the seat? Right. Did you use KLM social seating, Rob, to figure out where Al Gore was sitting and make sure that you could do that?
Yeah, you know what? Simple is as simple does, right? I passed on that idea to Gore. But you start to see this happening now in the mobile space, where it's people are saying, you know, there's confusion around it and they don't know where this is going, and that's what Untethered Talks is. And one of the things that we're bringing forward is obviously you, Asif. You are talking about the death of Geo, and I would love for you to take a second here just to describe what that means to you, the death of Geo.
Yeah, so basically I'm going to explore this whole concept of, you know, the definition of what is a place. And, you know, this far too limited definition of, you know, geo in the sense of location-based marketing simply being, you know, buildings that we can check into, and really start to expand it into a world that we're not quite there yet, but the world of every person, place, and thing being geotagged, geo-addressable, you know, the geo relationships that are possible between these things. So it's the death of geo in one sense of, you know, it just being, you know, check into this building, and the birth of, you know, location, you know, and addressable location, you know, across the board, across all objects. And so that's what I'm going to explore.
It's really what we've talked about, which is the location as dial tone, isn't it? Finally arriving.
Yeah.
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 Well, you know what? I'd love for you to see Asif is doing a keynote on the 26th in the morning, and he's also then going to sit around on a panel and defend exactly what he just talked about with a whole bunch of other people. It's great. It's a good event. We got 27 speakers now through 2 days. Don't know when we're going to jam them in, but there are tickets available, and we've just released a single-day passes. Lots of people are asking about that, especially in the Toronto area. And we've got a students to startup rate of $199, sponsored by our lead founding sponsor, Norton Rose. They've subsidized the rest of the cost. There's only 25 of those tickets available, and they're going quickly, so go and take a look on Untethered Talks. You know, it's funny that you should bring that up, Asif, around the death of the check-in and pervasive geography, because I think that as we move into our top 5 stories, the first one is exactly this, right? Which is a kind of a... That's a head scratcher for me. This is a company called DigiCity. It's based out of Montreal. And I wish I had this big graphic that would come up. It was like WTF question mark. Or is this like late 2009? So let's talk about this, and then maybe I'll have a few words about this. What is DigiCity?
Well, DigiCity is basically supposed to be the better Groupon. It's out of Montreal.
That's funny.
They, you know, they're operating in at the moment only Montreal and Vancouver. The idea is that you know, their argument is, yes, we need another one of these. You know, that gives the businesses more controls, lets them decide, you know, when they want to put a deal out, time of day, you know, length of deal. Size of deal, you know, control, basically all the controls you want, and, you know, lets you integrate and sort of manage your Facebook and Twitter all in one breath. And, you know, I just think that there are lots of platforms that do this. You know, I think there's, you know, so I don't see any big differentiators here. And the other thing I don't like about it is it's iPad and iPhone. Like, it's basically Apple only platform. So there's nothing on Android. There's nothing on BlackBerry. You're in Canada. I mean, you still got a lot of BlackBerries here, despite where the company's going. There's still a lot of BlackBerries.
Well, it said that they launched in Vancouver. They're focusing on Vancouver and Montreal. Each have 25 businesses in each area, and a few things that really, it's the same thing. You know, there are so many platforms out there to get awareness of this. Yeah. You know, you're too late. Add some value to those platforms, and this is it's a weird thing because they say that DigiCity is recreating the real world on your phone and enabling a real-time view into what's going on at your favorite places. You know, it just kind of seems that it's a combination of 40 different things, including like Scavenger and then Local Mind and Groupon and Foursquare and Yelp and it just seems like there's too much. There's just too much going on here. It's too scattered. And with only 25 businesses, you're not going to get that critical mass that you need right now. I don't get it.
And it's just so much feature set in there. You know, it's like Microsoft Excel, right? You know, I got this thing here, and you know, I use like 2% of the capability of this product. So why are we cramming it all in here? Just provide people with something that's different that they want. And there's 1,000 other guys doing this, so I just don't get it. And you're only on Apple, so anyway,
it's tough.
Sorry.
And what he says in this is really interesting. Is that there's a quote in here. It says it puts social media and customer engagement on autopilot. And I think that what we've been preaching here, and what a lot of businesses have been preaching is to not do that. You win by one-on-one relationships and expanding those relationships with your customers, and putting it on autopilot means you don't give a damn, and that's not exactly the message that you want to go out with this. Do not put your social.
The companies that are getting kudos right now, mind you, in particular big brands, and I'm sure Jonathan will talk about this as well from JetBlue, is the brands that are doing one-to-one quick responses to engagement on Twitter and Facebook. They've got teams sitting there that are reacting to everything in real time. It's not autopilot at all. So anyhow,
well, we wish them luck because they're a Canadian company, but we wish also that there would be a little bit more innovation that comes from this stuff, because this has just been done. Unless you're coming to the market with something brand new, unique, innovative, don't waste your breath. Don't waste ours. Hey.
Yeah.
That's a tough way to start.
There you go.
All right, so we got that crap over with. Let's jump into something that we actually won't dump on, which is our second story, our friends LocAid and this whole concept of opening up APIs, and allowing other people to use their data.
Yeah, I love this. So they launched the LocAid GeoFence API. So this is a new API for developers, basically, that gives them real-time customer location data with real-world geographic area data. So combining all that data together. So this is, the sort of that whole world of location as a service, and we've talked about this a lot. We've talked about the importance of this space. There's lots of guys trying to build innovative, cool, location-based mobile services in the market, but going and building your own geofencing platforms and going and sort of building your own databases of areas, and we've talked. Remember, we had Maponics as well on the show a long time ago as a sponsor. So I love these kinds of things where they just say, hey, look, if you're in the space, if you're a developer, you want to build something here, we've got an API here. You can use our geofencing platforms, and away you go. And it makes sense, right? It's absolutely why build it from scratch.
Yeah, I like this as well. I mean, I think that that when you have availability of this data, use it, and especially if it's cleansed data, use it. You can find more information. I pulled it up on the screen at geofencedemo.loc-aid.com, and or just go to loc-aid.com, and you will be able to link right to it. And I think this is a valuable service, and I like these guys. But that combination, as you said, of taking data and analytics and location specific data and allowing people to engage with this, and then opening that data up and enabling them. And what I love about it is that there's on the press release they had these top 10. You're not going to be able to see them if I pull them up, but they had the top 10 current uses for LocAid GeoFence already being deployed. And one of these things that they talked about, I'll see if I can. You're not going to be able to see it very clearly, but what I loved about these, some of these are you always think about where can I need to stimulate my ideas around what it is that I can offer, and there's anything from fleet management to family safety and location, even analytics. Market research company uses LocAid location to run permission-based consumer shopping and behavioral panels and surveys. I think that's great. But the most innovative one that I love, Asif, was the mobile gaming. The leading smartphone gaming platforms such as American Wagering and Cantor Fitzgerald in Nevada use LocAid to ascertain that a customer placing a wager on a smartphone is within the Nevada state border. That, to me, so I love when companies get that marketing message right. It's like, you know what? It is confusing, and here's LocAid.
I was just there, Rob, earlier this week, and I did not place any bets on my smartphone. So
why not? It's the future.
No, man.
Well, we like this. We like what LocAid's doing here. I always take a caveat on the side is that I believe in API usage and using it, but to a greater gain for your business. I'm a little hesitant when people rely on APIs, open APIs, to build their businesses, because I don't believe that you have anything of value if that's really what you're just doing. There's no IP for you. So bring it in, use it as a piece, not as the base of what you're doing, right? So this could be an additional
Yep.
service. But I love the fact that they're doing this. LocAid is a great little company. So speaking of great little companies, what about this company called Xtify?
Love these guys. One of the really interesting LBMA members. We've had these guys on the show before, and not any sort of new product announcement per se, but some great data that they put out in the marketplace, sort of updating people on the power of push notifications, and that's really the business that Xtify's in, is location triggered push notifications.
Let's hear it right from Josh, because I sat down with Josh a while ago. We had him on the show as we interviewed him, and this is in his own words what Xtify is. Yeah,
let's do it.
Very exciting.
Yeah, why don't you give us an overview of what Xtify is before we get into the demo?
So Xtify is a mobile engagement platform. And very specifically what that means is you have all of those developers and brands out there putting apps in the various markets. But as you know, one of the things that often happens is that app gets lost on the back page, or you can't have an effective way of reaching your customer when you'd most like to message them. So what we've done is we've built a platform that is a campaign management for push notifications and allows you to speak to your customer, as you'll see in a few moments, very much in context so that you can influence them at an unprecedented level.
So that was Josh Rochlin, who is the CEO of Xtify, and that was from a previous episode that we did. The whole interview's up there, but if you just do a search for Xtify on Untether.tv, you will find it up there. So what was this announcement that they came out with that it was so significant?
Well, they basically came out and said that push notifications are absolutely on the rise. And for the first month, so they look at sort of monthly engagement in terms of how many updates are being pushed out. And in the month of May, this past month that passed, they hit 1 billion monthly location updates for the first time. So, I mean, that's huge. That's brands, that's agencies, that's whoever using push notifications to influence customer engagement, drive purchases, get people to remember that they've got an app on their phone and to use it, all that kind of stuff. Xtify is great in the sense that it works on all platforms. It's iOS, it's Android, it's BlackBerry, tablets, smartphones, even works with Adobe's PhoneGap platform. So these guys support all the platforms, and 1 billion monthly location updates. That's huge. And then the even more interesting news that they came out with is that location-based push notifications, as opposed to the general push notification, are 3 times more effective than anything else. So I mean that's a huge piece of data that you can hold out there and say the power of location is here, and this is this backs it up. So it's
crazy. It's crazy why we think that it is an effective tool, but when these guys who are doing processing 1 billion messages a month, that they actually can confirm that and actually put a metric behind it, 3 times more effective. Yeah. And SMS, as we know, and any kind of text-based messaging is one of the most effective means of communicating. Right?
Yes.
There's a high percentage. What is it, 80% or 90% of people who get a text open that message? So this is a pretty staggering statistic when you throw in that location layer, and that's why we think this is a pretty effective way of doing things, especially with what Josh is doing over at Xtify. We love the push notifications if it's done effectively. Yeah,
keep it up.
Very good. I love them. We're just cruising here. Maybe we should slow down, have a cup of coffee. Our fourth story is about.
It is Father's Day. We should take it a bit slower. No,
exactly. Fourth story is around ScreenVision and HipCricket. If you've ever sat through a movie theater, I was actually in one today. We went to see and now it's completely gone, Madagascar 3 with the kids. That was their present to me on Father's Day. So we got there pretty early, and all those screens are up there on the, all those ads are on the screen, and HipCricket has partnered with ScreenVision to what?
Well, basically give you something to do while you're waiting for the show to start. So they've, HipCricket's got a platform called AdLife. This is about sort of the multi-screen engagement. And really, what they've done is you can participate in and play interactive mobile games via SMS while you're in that theater waiting for the show to start. So it's really cool. One of the things I like about it is the platform itself, or the app itself, is called ScreenFans, and you can earn points that you can redeem for free movies, movie tickets, snacks. And that's all using the HipCricket loyalty program that they've got in there. So basically, this is a great combination of functionality from HipCricket that they built into the ScreenVision program or app program. So really cool. You can do check-ins on it into the theaters. You can share reviews on Facebook. You can do trivia contests. There's lots of stuff going on here. So it's I think this is just the kind of thing that we want to see while you're waiting for a show.
Yeah, and it's not. I think that there are some companies that have thrown QR codes up there, who have done SMS text and trivia, or text to win. Yep. And I think this is just that, following that trend. Is that I remember the first time we saw an ad in a movie theater, and it was kind of stunning, where you thought, oh my God, the last bastion of non-commercialization has been, the barrier has been broken, and it's been breached, and all of a sudden we've got ads in here, and now they're commonplace. So now it's about active engagement, and if you can get somebody to sit there who's captive, engage with your brand in one way, this is another great example of doing that. And as long as there's true value for the consumer with that, this is a sign of things to come. And you know what is about to happen though? Commerce.
What is it? Commerce,
yeah, man. Because I think that you've got a captive audience in a movie theater. Those screens become pop-up stores, right? Somebody's got to get on that right away. And it's going to happen much faster than we think. It's not just about downloading music, but you think about the potential. You've got a captive audience in a theater. It's location aware. They're playing music over the speakers. You can actually buy that song by Shazamming it. Then also you get into a whole bunch of different things. You just get a product listing up front. Boom, products. Just buy them. Not just movie theater tickets, any product. You want to buy a car? Just scan the QR code. We'll credit. We take credit cards.
Absolutely. You see a car in the movie?
There you go.
You got it.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Is that active enablement of commerce. And that's what mobile and location have they're going to contribute to this unbelievably, and it's going to be so exciting to see. There's going to be a blurring. So ScreenVision and HipCricket, I think this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is going to be great. All right, our last story is around Samsung not being able to wait. It's like a kid who finds Christmas presents in November in their parents' closet, which is not where I hide mine. Which is why I probably do my Christmas shopping on December 24th, so they can't find their presents. But these guys, so Samsung, really active in NFC. They're releasing an NFC phone, the Galaxy S3 coming up. It's going to be NFC enabled, and they can't wait for it. Before we talk about this, we're going to explain what these things are. The Samsung TecTiles. I got a little video from Samsung's website. We're going to throw it up here, and then we're going to come back and have a little discussion about this, yay or nay. So here is Samsung TecTiles, which is our fifth story.
With TecTiles. Your phone automatically reacts to the world. You can simplify frequent actions with Samsung TecTiles, like changing multiple settings to home mode, turning on driving mode, or making social networking even easier. TecTiles are easy to set. Just select an action, and your phone automatically knows what to do. Just tap to see it happen.
Well, it's not the best video ever produced. I'll give them that. It's not what they do for a living. But basically these are NFC enabled stickers. Am I missing anything here, or is that exactly what it is?
No, they're exactly that. And their motivation here, as they've said, is look, we're banking on NFC for the future. We've got probably the most NFC enabled devices in the market today of anybody. Apple still doesn't have one, as we know. And we want to get people comfortable. We want to get people used to tapping and understanding how NFC works and what it can do. And it's not just about payments, as a lot of the discussion has been. It's about so many things that you can just do with the tap of a phone. And so what they've done is they've released these TecTile stickers. You can buy them through any of the big U.S. carriers: AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon, as well as on the Samsung website. They sell for $15 for a pack of 5, so basically $3 a sticker. And then you basically can program these things to trigger when you tap an NFC-equipped phone on them to do whatever you programmed it to do. So I mean, a bit forward thinking, a bit for the folks out there who who are absolutely on the leading edge. But some of the examples they give are kind of interesting. So you could it comes with a matching app, Samsung app called Samsung TecTiles for Android, and you basically so some of the examples you can set the phone to turn on Bluetooth or Wi-Fi by tapping. You could enable airplane mode by tapping. You can launch an app automatically. You can join a Wi-Fi network. You can share contact information like a digital business card simply by tapping. So there's a lot of things that you can do that are kind of interesting. One example that they went on to say is a parent could program a TecTile and stick it to a refrigerator to automatically send them a text message that says, "Hey, Mom and Dad, I'm home," when their child gets back from school and taps their phone on the fridge. So there you go.
I'm laughing at that example because for one thing, I think that this is too expensive for mass rollout and as an interim technology, right? I mean, eventually NFC is going to be printable, and NFC tags are going to be printable or something to that extent. And for the most part, something like QR codes can do the same thing, right? They can enable or trigger an action. And Microsoft has a tag. Microsoft Tag is the same thing. So I think this is a neat thing, and it's really good of Samsung to go out and educate the population on the future and what NFC means and how to use it, and try to create this adoption. Then give away the tags. Don't charge them for it if you want to activate these kind of things. Because there's an example in that video of a kid tagging a poster in a school, and if you really wanted to equip the school with enough posters, it would cost you $1,000, and that's not something that's going to happen because they're throwaway or somebody's going to rip them off. But I like this idea. I like the idea of bringing NFC to bear. But I just wonder if it's at this point pushing this rock up a hill, and I think that you're trying to force NFC down everybody's throat. There's going to be a natural place for NFC in a natural time, and it hasn't taken hold. 2012 was supposed to be the year of NFC, just like 2011 was supposed to be the year of NFC. 2013 is not going to be the year of NFC. It might be when Apple actually releases maybe iPhone 7 or 8 with NFC enabled, and maybe that's when it turns. But we haven't seen any indication that this is something that the hoopla around NFC has somewhat disappeared, and the uses of NFC have disappeared. And this is an example of maybe we'll look back a year from now or 6 months from now and think what was Samsung really doing pushing these tech tiles? But it's good on them. They must have a lot of money to be spending this, and they do. In order to be able to drive awareness for this. But give these away, Samsung, right? Give them away if you want the adoption.
There you go.
All right, those are the 5 stories. We got some good stories in there, but if you think we've missed any, if you should have been one of those 5 stories, man, reach out. Untethered@gmail.com or asif@thelbma.com. Find us, follow us up on Twitter @RobWoodbridge or @AsifRCon in order to be able to send us some of these stories if you want to see them inside of This Week in Location-Based Marketing. Good stories, Asif. Man, I love it. I loves it.
Thank you. Yeah.
We're going to jump right into this great interview that I did with Jonathan Stephen, who is the head of mobile with JetBlue Airways. We know Jonathan going way back to the Mobile Marketing Association. He was based out of New York, and he's moved over into JetBlue. So he's gone from an association into a brand, and he's brought his knowledge of mobile and location into this venerable brand in JetBlue. And I got a great opportunity to sit down with him and talk to him about how JetBlue is integrating location, mobile, into commerce and enabling customer service. And I think that this is a really interesting clip. It's about 3 or 4 minutes. But, Jonathan is a very well-versed guy in this business, and he's seen quite a bit, and he's bringing that expertise to JetBlue. So without further ado, Jonathan Stephen, the head of mobile with JetBlue Airways. Take it away, Rob and Jonathan. Here it is. When you start to think about how this industry is going to change, so how mobile is going to change the airline industry, you know, are you starting to look at things like location-based marketing? Are you looking at things like obviously tying loyalty to the application? Are you looking at things like I don't know, you know, in-app entertainment and those kind of things, or in-flight entertainment through mobile? What are you guys contemplating at JetBlue?
So there's a couple of ways to look at this. Let's first look at the technology side. I'm being in the travel vertical, I have to keep myself apprised of what's happening in the mobile industry. There are a few technologies out there that I see that are going to have a huge impact on the travel industry. For example, near-field communications. I'm a huge fan of it. I see more and more devices are being developed with this ability. And the question is how could airlines use this secure technology to engage with their customers? And I've seen a few airlines out there start to experiment with it already, for the ability to give their passengers a boarding pass through their device, and they were able to go through the security checkpoint with a near-field communication scanner. So that's just the service side there. There's also a whole commerce side, perhaps purchasing items on board and swiping your phone across the reader to be able to purchase something. And so there's so many opportunities just with one technology, just from a service side and also from a mobile commerce side as well. Something else we're starting to see that's growing is mobile boarding passes itself. Many airlines today are offering mobile boarding passes, and I'm happy to say JetBlue is working on an initiative for mobile boarding passes as well, because we want to deliver this service to our customers. I'd say that there's a certain element of it to being green, because you don't have to print out a piece of paper anymore. But again, it's empowering the customer. They're able to book their flight, check into their flight, get their flight information, and have their boarding pass right on their phone. So again, the more tools we can give to our customers, the better experience that they're going to have. And when you think about it, it goes back to that question: what problem are we trying to solve? Customers want to be able to go to the airport and zip right through security. They want to be able to get to their gate. They don't want to have to stand in lines. So the more that we can deliver to them through the mobile channel, the better their experience will be.
So on that vein, let's dive a little bit deeper into some of these things, because it's really interesting. You know, there's a battle, and you know this because it's so important to what you guys are doing. There's a battle right now for you know, the share of this non-existent market yet, which is called the mobile wallet. We're not quite there yet, right? But, you know, when you start to think about how that is going to have an impact on the airline industry around security and around identification and payment, and as you said, ticketing, and then onboard payment, this could be something that is two things. First of all, revolutionary, right? That the device that you're carrying becomes your passport, your ticket, and your wallet, big, and your loyalty card, big. But then also that there's many more opportunities for an airline like JetBlue to, you know, do microtransactions, onboard microtransactions for things that you would not normally sell. Like you've got the sandwiches and the booze and all that kind of stuff, and the drinks. But then you've also got the headphones and the movies. And does that, what kind of opportunity? Two questions here. First of all, how important is that wallet? And then second, what kind of opportunities does that open up for JetBlue around additional revenue opportunities on board or around?
So I would say it's important because customers today are demanding this technology. More and more people are embracing mobile commerce. They're trusting the channel. They're sharing information. They're pairing their bank accounts. They're using this medium. And I think over the time, this goes back to my MMA hat, that the carriers are starting to embrace this as well and enable more companies to be able to either do carrier billing or perhaps bill directly to the credit cards. So as an industry as a whole, and I'd say within the North American market, that we're really starting to see a great adoption there. And it's a huge opportunity for JetBlue. It's a huge opportunity for airlines all around. To be able to leverage this technology. Back in the day, we used to only have cash cabins where you'd pay for items with cash. Then they moved to the credit card, where it became this cashless cabin. And I'm not a fortune teller, but I can tell you that with mobile commerce growing so much, we're going to start to see mobile commerce in the air as well. Something that's very simple for the user to be able to use. And when you think about it, the device, when you create an application and you've tied your loyalty account to it, the airline will know some of the likes and dislikes that you have, and they'll be able to know what are some of the items that you purchase on board. And I can almost foresee that perhaps airlines will be able to offer their customers perhaps discounts or coupons on some of the favorite items that they have. So it's really a matter of keeping your ear to the ground and understanding how customers are using this technology, and then making sure that you adapt to it in the future.
And that was Jonathan Stephen, who is the head of mobile with JetBlue Airways. The full interview can be found up on untether.tv. Just do a search for JetBlue. I really appreciate Jonathan sitting in on that and allowing us to use this clip on This Week in Location-Based Marketing. We just bring you the greatest people. That's what we do. And it's, you know what, it has something to do with the industries that we're in. It's an embracing industry. The people in this space, mobile location, are just the cream of the crop. They're the best people. Best people. All right, what do you say we jump into our M&A and funding section? This is where there's some money exchanging hands. Big money. And speaking of big, Big Blue getting involved in this whole space, finalizing an acquisition with TeaLeaf. First of all, we don't need to describe what Big Blue is IBM buying, but what is TeaLeaf?
Well, TeaLeaf is a sort of analytics company of sorts that looks in particular at tracking what shoppers do and what they see on websites and mobile devices. And so it's really a data mining analytics company that's specific to online and mobile shopping. And so, you know, IBM has a group that's called Smarter Commerce, and so this is, you know, perfect fit for them in terms of having that sort of insight and knowledge into, you know, the mind of the shopper, whether they're online or on mobile. And so I didn't see any specific numbers on this particular deal, but you know, knowing IBM, you know, it's sizable of sorts.
If it's worthy of an announcement, there's some dollars associated with it. There's a great quote on this, and you as a consumer, take your business hat off and put your consumer hat on. And this press release was written in definitely from the business standpoint, because it says, and I quote, you'll see it in blue and highlighted there, making marketing more of a welcomed service for consumers. Wow, that's what this deal is, and I'm not sure that anybody wants to be marketed to. But
no,
this is IBM. You know, we don't hear much about IBM in this space, and they have their entire consulting practice, as you've said, and these guys need to start amping it up when it comes to the technology acquisitions in order to be able to compete.
Yeah, and you got to think this is, again, I don't have a number on this, but it's got to be sizable. I mean, TeaLeaf's been around since the late '90s, and I think they were a spin-off of Software AG or one of those big companies before, right? So they're, you know, this isn't a small little shop.
No, this is not a startup. This is a company that's been around, and good on IBM. I always like when big companies like this take, you know, this is a strategic buy, and if you look a little bit into this, what are they trying to do here? And I think that's the riddle that all the competitors are now looking at. So IBM acquires TeaLeaf. If you want some information about TeaLeaf, just go to TeaLeaf, exactly like it sounds, .com. They are now an IBM company.
There you go.
Okay, now here's a company that has raised a little bit of cash, just a little bit of cash. A company called Yext raises 27 million smackaroos. Take that, put it right in the pocket. What's the hold on that check? 6-10 days? $27 million. This is on top of a $25 million investment a couple of years ago. First of all, what is Yext?
Yext is a company has a product called Power Listings. This is, you know, the sort of super business listing service. So the idea here is that, you know, and we've talked about this issue before, but, you know, if you're a business, in the old days, you get the Yellow Pages guy knocking on your door. You put your listing in the Yellow Pages. Somebody wanted to find you. You know, you get out that old paper directory book, and they can find you. In today's world, you've got Foursquare and Yelp and Facebook and Google and, you know, 17,000 other places where you have to list your business.
And now,
and then you got
DigiCity.
And now DigiCity. And you got to manage all these listings, and they're all that data is treated as proprietary by the different companies and all that kind of stuff. So Yext is a company that says, look, no. Just give us the stuff, and we'll synchronize it across 50 different sites, and we'll manage it all for you and try and make it all simple. So that's what they do. So 27 million. This is a Series E fund for them. You know, that's yeah, that's a lot of coin.
And the valuation at $27 million or $270 million. That's what they're saying it is. And now here's a question for you. See, if we've talked about you know, the postal services and the transition that the postal services need to make in order to be able to become relevant, because of, especially in Canada, Canada Post suffered a $370 million loss last quarter simply because nobody's sending mail anymore. And they're trying to pivot and position themselves in a different way as a parcel and a package delivery service. And you see this in the U.S. Postal Services as well. But to me, you hit on it when we had Canada Post on as a sponsor, is that their bread and butter, what they need to be doing right now is exactly this. They are the ones that have every location of every house and every business in the countries, in the United States and in Canada. And when people change their address, where do they change their address? With the postal office, right? With Canada Post, or the U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah. And if you can get a company like this that's got a $270 million valuation,
buy it.
I mean, according to the press release, they've managed they've powered 950,000 different location updates for 50,000 businesses. Well, I mean, 50,000 businesses.
Nothing.
I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of businesses in Canada and the U.S. You know, and if this company is worth $270 million, I have no idea what Canada Post or the U.S. Postal Service getting into this business could be worth. But anyhow.
They should, right? And that's the key here, is that this is a ripe opportunity for the postal offices to transition their business, to get into this business, to own this business. But they're sitting back and they just want to be a parcel service delivery patsy. Drives me crazy. So you know what? Maybe here's a bold prediction. Yext is going to buy Canada Post.
Yeah, not happening. Canada Post is doing some good things on the digital front. I think you're going to hear a lot from them in the next couple of months.
Well, Yext raised $270 million, or $27 million on a $270 million valuation. I just think that Canada Post should be right in there. I think that U.S. Postal Service should look at this as well. All right, our last funding deal here is a company called iZettle. We've mentioned these guys before. They're out of Stockholm. They raised how much, Asif?
31.4 million. So iZettle is the Square of Europe. You know, as you said, based in Stockholm. This is Series B funding, led by Greylock and North Zone. All MasterCard's also in there, surprisingly. That's kind of interesting. MasterCard's everywhere right now on payments, it seems. You know, and yeah, so this is 31.4, bringing the total over the two rounds to 46.7. So they got almost 50 million in funding in there. We'll see. I mean, the plan is to get beyond sort of Europe and into some other countries and into the U.S. potentially as well. So the difference here between them and Square, just to recap from our previous conversations, is while Square processes swipe cards, you know, the magstripe cards in the U.S., which is the common type of credit card in the U.S. These guys use the chip-based cards. So you insert your card into a chip reader, which is obviously much more common in Europe and in Canada. So
$31.4 million for iZettle. If you're interested, go to iZettle.com. I think we have our own views. We could do an entire show on the value of these companies that are just enabling transactions. It's not a business that I would personally like to be in. I don't think that it's a long-term viable business. There's not really anything unique here at all. And as you're seeing this, I mean, I've got, you know,
but lots of cash in the
lots of cash in the short term. And Moneris, I just got my Moneris paid, P-A-Y-D. It's the same thing as iZettle. It's the same thing as Square, but it's available up in Canada. It's a short-term gold mine, but a long-term, we're going to start to see some suffering there. But they raised $31.4 million. Good on them. Yes.
Like it.
And all of a sudden, and Square is you know, I think they're doing $6 billion a month now in transactions, and just. But that doesn't mean that they're driving $6 billion in revenue, right? It just means that they're doing transactions.
No. Most of that's going back to the credit company.
Those are the three stories that we're covering in the M&A and funding activity in this past week. So if we missed anything there, if you think that there's anything more relevant than those three stories, bring it. Doesn't matter if it's in North America, or Europe, or Asia, or Africa. It does not matter. We are covering it. This is a global phenomenon that is happening here. So reach out. You know the email address is untethered@gmail.com or asif@thelbma.com. Got one last piece of business here. And I don't know, Asif, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here, okay? Those consumers, those pesky little consumers that buy all those products, you and I, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I heard of them.
We want our voices to be heard. We want our feedback to be heard. I don't know if you knew that. But that is the result of a survey, and that is our resource of the week.
Shocking.
It's like, you know what? What? No. They do not.
Yeah, new data out. Media Post published it. It was conducted by a group called Empathica. That basically, so it's titled "Shoppers Talk, but Doubt Stores Listen." Shoppers talk, but doubt stores listen. 85% of shoppers say that they provide customer feedback in stores when asked, but only 29% believe it does any good, and only 2 in 5 think retailers care what they say anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shocking.
Well, it's a. I think there was an app that I interviewed. It wasn't Ditto me, but now it escapes me. But it was about real time mobile engagement or mobile customer service and mobile feedback. And I think that this is what we're talking about here. Is that any way you can enable your customers to give you feedback, act on that feedback. Really be empathetic or empathize with their plight if it's an issue. And this is why I think that you cannot. What DigiCity was talking about, you cannot automate that process, because then these actual feelings from a consumer standpoint are true, that you don't care, because if you automate your social and your mobile and your interaction, you don't care about your customer, right? And I think that somebody got paid a whole lot of money to figure that out. Wow,
yeah.
They could have just asked your parents. Because it's old school business rules, as Gary Vaynerchuk likes to call it. It's like back to basics. Customers care. Customers matter. Care about your customers. So shoppers talk, but doubt stores listen. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's data that says what we all already knew. Obviously, it's they surveyed 6,500 people, so. Decent sample size. This is U.S. data, by the way, only. They go on to say 83% say they would be more loyal to a store if they could be sure that their comments were taken seriously.
Isn't that amazing? Here,
yeah.
You know what the challenge that everybody's facing right now in this ultra competitive world about free choice and free reign and free love and all this kind of stuff that we're seeing as a result of these tools that we use. They're telling you how to keep them as a customer. They're telling you.
Yeah.
So forget about the technology. Forget about all the implementations. Just reach out a helping hand. Just acknowledge, and you can gain them as customers.
Well, and it goes back to our opening conversation with DigiCity, right, about the autopilot discussion.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't do it.
And I think that the data says here we got the data to back it up, right? We don't consumers want to be heard, and they don't want to be heard. Just every once in a while. And when they say something, they want you to respond now, right away. Not autopilot response, automated standard response for everybody. They want individualized, personalized. You read my comment and you cared about it and you responded to it. I mean, it's customer service 101.
I can't believe we're back to basics now. I'm going to write the book.
Oh man.
All right. So that was a resource. Consumers want their feedback heard. Shoppers talk, but doubt stores listen. If you are a store, listen. If you're a shopper, keep talking. And don't go underground. Keep your voice heard. And I'm sure that some good retailer, some good business will reach out and win your business away. That's it. Episode number 82. My goodness, 82 episodes in the bag. We will be here, of course, for episode number 83 next week. And if you have any feedback on this, and we've had some great feedback, we've had some good comments, we've had some great tweets. If you have any feedback about this or any other episode, please reach out. Reach out. We really, really do appreciate hearing from you. If you want to spread the love, if you love this show, spread it. We will take that as well. And if you really love this show, subscribe to us through iTunes or through our RSS feed, which is on untether.tv. And you will get the episodes on your device right away as soon as they're available. It's the best way to do it. We appreciate the fact that you listen each and every week because it means the world to us. We do this for free. This is our contribution. We want you to know what is going on out there. If you're also interested in reaching our audience, which is growing at a great rate, we would love to have that conversation as well. Reach out to either Asif or myself, and we will get you on here as a sponsor. We will get your ad out here in front of a bunch of people that actually are relevant in this industry who listen to this, because we bring great news, great insight to them each and every week for 82 consecutive weeks. This is not a fly-by-the-night organization. We don't miss anything.
No, we're here. And we ain't going anywhere. So
no way. Go. We've done this on Valentine's Day. We've done this on Father's Day. What else have we done this on? We've done this on every day that could get us a divorce.
I think we did it on Christmas.
We did it on Christmas. Yes. So we are dedicated. We're crazy dedicated. And we'd love to hear your feedback. That's it, Asif. We got nothing left.
All right, man.
We will see everybody next week for episode number 83 of This Week in Location-Based Marketing. Thanks for watching. Safe travels, Asif.
Cheers.